Here we are, hitting up events, drinking our way through Chicago beer, and trying not to miss a thing.
Yeah, because, got a cork popped out, boom, it flies like fucking 10 feet. We're like, yeah, let's do it.
All you have to do is add some fruit, stir it up, and ride that milk-shaped wave.
Whenever I see him, I gotta take a photo with the most decorated brewer in Chicago, Jonathan Cutler.
It'll be like the stuff you hear. You ever go to, every time you go to Floyd's, all the music sounds like this. Raw, raw, raw.
Sometimes you want a small beer, but really, you want a big beer.
You gotta take in all those big aromatic hops.
Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Waiting in line for a bottle release?
You should have never been a fad. The black IPA is delicious.
Hey, and welcome to the first episode of 2023. I'm Brad Chmielewski.
Brad, what's up, man? I'm Nik White. Happy New Year, Brad.
Happy New Year. And we are getting things off on the right start here with a hazy from Hopewell.
Yeah, man. This is a Light Beam Hazy IPA. So this is 6.3% from the Hopewell Brewing Company, Logan Square. Hello. Yeah, man. It radiates full spectrum of modern hop eccentric. God damn it! I use the word eccentric, but I don't use the word
Eccentricities?
eccentricities.
All right.
Jesus Christ.
This is tasting great. This is my first real beer in probably 2 weeks because I've been on a rum kick.
Brad's all about skipping town, man. I don't blame him. I'd have done the exact same thing.
Warmer pastures.
So
this is tasting real good. I almost forgot what just lager, beer, and rum was messing with me. So this is good.
So nice to just get reacclimated with what probably the most popular style and craft these days. One of no lower than third, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Which I was thinking we were starting to see it slow down, but I think it's just gotten more, dialed in and less juicy and too big. They calm down a little bit.
Everyone kind of, instead of they tapered it. Everyone's got the tapered feel on the hazies. Because remember how some used to have that almost it was a hop burn that kind of reminded you of pepper.
Yeah.
You don't even really see those anymore. Just everything's just kind of nice and in step.
Right. Not overly juicy anymore. It's kind of getting juiced out. This is much more IPA forward with the hazy look. Mm-hmm. So I'm digging it. It's already best beer I've had of 2023 right here.
And now that we mentioned it too, I'm wondering, guys who've been making hazies for a long time, if their hazy profiles changed, if the process changed behind that too. I'm kind of curious about that, So.
Right, I don't know, people like Alarmist or Old Irving that won awards based on this hazy.
Yeah.
Do they sort of have to keep making that because people
Right.
love that?
Do you in your tweaking? Because that was Floyd's thing every year. They never brought out too many new brands, but the brands they had, they tweaked all the time. So Alpha King's different, Behemoth Barley Wine. It's always different every year.
Okay.
I wonder if they're tweaking these hazies at all.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
I'm curious.
Mm-hmm. New Year's happened. We did our recap episode, but I was gone. I wasn't here, hitting up places. But you went to a few, Nick. What'd you do?
Yeah, man. Shout out to Lake Zurich, Illinois. Hello. Okay. I was up at Phase 3.
Okay.
Yeah, the Phase 3 Brewing Company. They were doing. I think it was New Year's Day. I think it was called a boozy brunch. Okay. But it was basically like a Celebrate, an opportunity to buy barrel-aged bottles and some of the non-barrel-aged, large format bottles that is typically reserved for memberships.
Okay.
So that's what caught my attention.
So this is, you said this was a cellar raid, and so I typically only have ever seen the cans. I don't even see the bottles very often unless rare occasion you might have picked one up or someone might have had one.
Yeah, Unoya, Curvature, Minutiae, and Barrel Aged Press are some of the large format bottles. And then there were some collabs too. So there's a collab with Brooklyn Brewery. There was a brown ale collab with, I want to say, Three Sons. I forget where Three Sons is, maybe Tampa. Yeah. Yeah. So a couple collabs in there, and then all their barrel aged stuff.
Okay.
I was trying to pull up the list here just to see how many, because it was a pretty impressive list of stuff that you could buy, and that's what really caught my attention going up there.
And
So,
these were they all just bottles from this year, or were they even
yeah,
2021?
this year in 2020. So like Black is Beautiful, they had a barrel aged version of Black is Beautiful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 curvatures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 Unoyas, and then about 20 beers in total, whether it's Minutiae pressed or some of their collabs.
How many bottles did you walk away with?
Oh man, Sunday morning you're not thinking right because it's New Year's Day, and you took you an hour to get there, so you pretty much had to like get in gear and snack on the way up.
Okay.
So I wasn't in my right mind. That's what I'm saying.
So almost all of them. Okay.
I'll tell you which
so
one.
we're gonna be drinking some here soon.
We should definitely try one or two here. My goal when I was picking bottles was to stay away from the ones that had sweeter adjuncts.
Okay.
Maple syrup, you're done. That kind of thing. Didn't want anything sweet. So I think I left with the Barrel Aged Perception of Death, which is depth, not death.
Okay.
That was brown ale, Barrel Aged brown ale. Because I was really impressed with their Barrel Aged Oktoberfest. Barrel Aged Oktoberfest makes no sense when you're reading it.
Right.
And then when you drink it, it's just like, it's not a barley wine. It's not a strong ale. It's just its own thing. It doesn't remind you much of Oktoberfest or anything else for that matter. I was really kind of like, what the fuck?
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah. Pretty good hang. Shout out to Chris Jacobson. Ran into him up there. And you get to try some of the stuff on tap. What they do is they do a what could be series of experimentals. So they have the base beer, and then they just kind of like a trial of different adjuncts. And so those are the ones you could drink on draft. And then everyone's there eating breakfast burritos and carrying out copious amounts
Of bottles.
yeah.
Is this bottle form, because this is large format bottles, no store is going to carry these anymore. So
Yeah.
it's impossible. Like, they can only sell these at the brewery or
Yeah.
to these memberships.
Yeah.
And I was even talking to someone who got the Bourbon County Stout lineup, and they're like, I don't even want to drink these. I'd rather have a whiskey at night. Like, I have no reason to ever open these up unless I take them to someone's house. Like, it's not fun to even have these.
That's
they're
interesting.
regretting the person he was basically like, Brad, do you want these? And I was like, thanks, but I'm also not going to drink them.
Where are you going to put them? And if you don't, and some of them is weird because if you don't drink them now, they're going to taste like they're not going to be very good next year.
Yeah, my wife's going to be like, why are these bottles in the fridge?
Exactly. Do you have the room? B, and yeah, you're right. It's not like, whiskey. You have whiskey, you have a sip, you put it back, you can sip it on your own. Large format bottles ain't like that. You kind of have to have someone, and you guys have to kind of,
Or even a wine, it's not great after a couple days, but you can go a couple days with a bottle of wine. But beer, even with those caps or whatever it is, it does not the same.
We did the experiment, right? Where we got when we did the Bourbon County at home, and I think we just split the ones we liked, and you drink them for 3 days, and there's no capturing what it was like before you opened it. It's downhill as soon as you open it. Yeah.
So this bottle share, like I saw you post the pictures and hearing about it, it's just like these bottles, like they're selling them, they're trying to get rid of them.
It sounds like they have a capacity issue in one of the coolers, and that's what prompted, hey, come and get the sale. And I was telling Brad in the pre-show, man, when you walk into this joint, it's the old Lake Zurich Brewing. I think they walk you through a room of barrels behind the tap room, and then you have to go into a second room, right, which also has barrels in it, and that's where there's 2 bars in that room.
Yeah.
And then you go to the third overflow room, which also they got 3 rooms full of barrels in this joint. You know what I mean? Okay. So it's like they have the memberships, and I think the memberships are at capacity, but they have a lot of capacity for beer.
What was the sale price? Was it like half off, or?
It was just you have a chance to buy it.
Oh,
It
so
wasn't
it was still full price.
Yeah, it wasn't like It wasn't like, hey, we're having a clearance sale where it's a blowout, end
Oh.
of season. We're moving into a different season of beers. No, it's just like, hey, if you're not a member and you want to have these beers because we, like you said, we don't distro them, and if we have them on draft or for sale, it's usually just for a day. And if you missed out on those and you want to know what is going on, then you come try 'em.
Right, and some of those you probably buy and drink there regularly, right?
It's funny. It's funny you say that because some people, they have days where you can buy a bottle and then drink it on premise.
Okay.
But that's not a consistent thing. So some folks were like, "Can we open these here?" And the staff's like, "No." And I'm like, that sounded kind of ridiculous to me. But some of the guys who frequent the joint were saying, "Well, there are some releases where they allowed you to open it."
Okay.
But New Year's Day wasn't the day.
It wasn't one of those. But even those cases where they have those bottles you can open, like even Goose does this, or other restaurants, like, oh, open this bottle and you get to drink it here. If you're by yourself, you're not like, all right, let me open this big one.
Here we go. Hair of the
You
dog.
can't even do that.
It's 11 a.m. There's 100 people in this line, and it's go time. They offer you, I think, a coconut porter when you walk in. They got beer mosas. Beer mosas weren't that great. Kind of surprised by that because
It's not beer mosa.
I think it's just their the puree that they use for their seltzers, maybe.
Okay.
And then like one of the beers, probably a pills or something.
Okay.
Be my guess. There was a mango one and a peach one.
Okay.
Peach one, great. Mango one, not so.
Isn't peach a Bellini though, technically?
Oh, now we're back to the Radler versus Shandy conversation, right?
Right. Isn't peach and champagne is a Bellini, right?
So it's not even a
Mimosa.
It's not even mimosa. That's interesting. I didn't think about that because although I like a Bellini, I couldn't tell you what the difference is. But
I don't know if there's one with a mango. I know there's like is it like a pink lady or there's a red and champagne one, like maybe cranberry, something like that.
I like a nice champagne layer. Prosecco. I like a prosecco layer.
Okay.
What was the first one to kick? The first one to sell out, I think, were the Curvatures. So Curvature 10, whichever one that was. That was the first one to kick, followed by Minutiae. Minutiae was just their barrel-aged, non-adjunct stout.
Okay.
Just kind of a bare stout. Yeah. I tell you the one I was excited about. Well, they had the Wooden Wings. Wooden Wings is remember if you're a bird, I'm a bird with Goose?
Yeah.
There's like one was chocolate strawberry and one was, I don't know, strawberry chocolate.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, a barrel-aged version of that.
Oh, cool. Okay.
One more note about that place. The one I was excited about was Unoya 5. It was 2 imperial stouts aged in Willet rye barrels for 13 months with Ugandan vanilla beans.
Okay.
We got to add Uganda to our ever-growing curiosity list of vanilla origins. Ugandan.
Right. Ugandan. Oh,
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, because at the switching gears a little bit, at the one Cruz Blanca one, the best beer there, I think, the most interesting beer that was just beer forward beer was the Ray Cuvée, which was like a blend of all these vanillas and different years of their barrel aged style. So I'm like, of all of these, man, do I want a coconut beer that was bottled a year ago, or will I go with this, vanilla stout that?
And you did that.
I went with the vanilla. I think that was the safest play of the adjuncts.
Okay.
So, and plus, I never had it.
Nice. So this was up in Lake Zurich, which we need to make a trip up there and hit up a few of them. So maybe in a couple weeks,
Yeah.
we get that on the calendar.
Chris Jacobson said the same thing. He's like, hey, man, tell Brad when he's ready. You guys come up.
Okay.
So I think our route is Roaring Table. I know Roaring Table and P3. I forget the other route. The other stop.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Yeah.
What else is up there?
But,
Okay. Oh. So you did that. Anything else?
Cheers to Elk Grove Village.
Okay.
I made my way over to Mikerphone. These are like my two favorite. If I'm going to the burbs, it's usually to these two places.
These are like the same places. They make the same exact beer.
We were trying to figure this out because what were we saying? We made a comment kind of like that, right? And I was like, no, it was Hot Butcher. Somebody said this is a Hot Butcher of the burbs, and I'm like, well, no, Mikerphone's doing barrel aged stuff, and I think Mikerphone's got more range than
And what about more?
more. But when you put Hot Butcher, P3, Mikerphone, more, and line them all up over a calendar,
Or is at the bottom?
all of a calendar year, they're all they're playing in that same space, right? Fruity hazies, adjunct stouts, I say fruity hazies. I meant to say fruited sours. Fruited sours, hazies, adjunct stouts. They're all kind of playing in that space.
Yeah.
Yeah. And barrel aged stuff all year long. Yeah. So.
Okay. So would you have a Mikerphone?
I went to Mikerphone because it was Toppling Alive Tap Takeover at Mikerphone. Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
What is there was another that was Peace had the our friends tap takeover. Like, is this something we're about to see more of? Like these other breweries taking over another brewery to be like, hey, I think your fan base might like this, rather than going to a bar because those people are, I don't know, more drunks than the people going to these tap rooms that probably have food or like a little more hangout place.
That's what you're going with. Yeah. No, that makes sense. In comparison to a bar,
Right.
you don't usually see breweries take over other breweries. Right?
Right.
I think you're right about that. Yeah. That's
But
a good point.
the people that often go or hang out at the bar are different people that are like tap room, like I'm gonna support my local brewery versus like I'm gonna support my local bar. You don't have the same like feeling
That's true.
there.
That's true. Yeah, I agree. I think it's fun
Mm-hmm.
because, you saw it, and I remember when what was it? Not 3 Dots and a Dash. Oh, Lost Lake. The Lost Lake guys were going to Madagascar for a vacation, and they invited a place from Houston to come up and just take over the bar.
Oh, cool.
So instead of it being like a tiki themed joint, it was like a fucking Texas disco, and it was just all the stuff from the Anvil in Houston. It was just like, we're not making none of the Lost Lake shit. We're truly taking over. It's kind of funny. So it's kind of in the vein of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
How was that?
well, I don't get around to Toppling Goliath a lot.
Yeah.
I know people go nuts over their barrel aged stuff. Like people make their way to fucking Decorah, Iowa.
Right. I've been once.
Yeah.
It's a nice space.
Oh, so you must have been to the newer one because they say the older one was like an old Pizza Hut.
Oh yeah, the new one's real nice.
Yeah.
It feels like a Boulder, Colorado brewery.
Okay.
Like it's almost like there's like a second level that's looking down at the first level. I feel like there's like an elk antlers hung up on the side. Like it feels like
a destination thing, kind of.
destination / like you put your skis up and you're like hanging out here for a while or something.
Okay. So like a brewery and a lodge kind of thing. Okay. Like a nice.
But very open and bright, and it's nice.
I've been curious. People go for Morning Delight, and people go for a few other barrel aged releases. I haven't had their stuff since my last Great Taste.
Okay.
And in that environment, it's kind of hard to tell what makes it special. I just drank a big ass Benthic, right? And then you're having this thing you'll never see again.
So they have the Morning Delights. They have like the
they had
Sues
Morning Delight and Turmoil, and this was also a what's it called? It's the hazy IPA up there.
Pseudo Sue.
Yeah, Pseudo Sue. Pseudo Sue collab with Mikerphone.
Oh, okay.
So it's called Sue Studio.
Nice.
Yeah. So where Pseudo Sue is just a single hop Citra pale ale showcase. This other thing, Sue Studio, had like 3 different hops, and it was a hazy IPA. So it was bigger, and it had like 5 hops in it.
Cool.
Yeah. It was fantastic on draft. Yeah. Very cool can artwork. And then, you used to get to sit at the bar. They have a really, it's funny. After I went to this place, there was a Facebook thread about Mikerphone complaining that people keep stealing their glassware because it's all branded. And then I'm like, is that why I like coming here? Because everything's branded. But then it's like everyone hopped in the comments that also worked at breweries, and they all started. It became this like 100-comment bitch fest about how everyone's stealing fucking glasses, and no one blamed the customers. They're just like, you can't have sweet glasses because people suck. I'm like, how am I? I took the Brad approach. I'm like, well, how am I gonna know where I am if there's no branding on the glass?
Right. I think they should have it, especially for if you're sitting at the bar. Maybe you get like the nice glasses, but if you're sitting like at the tables where they can't keep an eye on you, then you get the like non-branded cup.
Yeah, I think old Irving chimed in, and Trevor's like, you just got to bake it into the price of your pour,
Oh yeah, there you go.
and just kind of write it off as marketing and just raise the price. So I hope we don't go away from branding, because there's like a couple different fonts on their cups. Sometimes it's a logo, sometimes it's a name in cursive. It's a nice touch.
Right, and like we've always said, it makes for it's free marketing. Even if someone steals it, then someone might be at their house and be like, "Oh, what's this brewery?" But you're probably taking a picture with this glass.
I'm saying, like, you're not gonna have a sweet glass at home and not take a picture of it in it.
Right.
So that's how I see it too. But then again, I don't own a brewery. So.
Yeah, but bacon's the price. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was good, man. What is it? Psycho. I just want to keep calling it Psycho.
Pseudo Sue.
Pseudo Sue. Pseudo Sue, they had a partnership with the museum. So I went to a Pseudo Sue event maybe like in 2017. And they were saying back then that they were making so much Pseudo Sue that they actually contracted just that beer out of some spot in like Lakeland, Florida. For a long time, the only place you can get it on draft was the museum.
Right.
So it used to be called Tsunami Pale Ale. And it was one of their flagship beers, one of their core beers. So Tsunami Pale Ale, they tweaked all the recipes. So he's got this new word. He's like, I don't know what to call it. So he just put, Tsunami Sue on the tank. And then that's where it eventually being his wife, I think his mom's name is Sue. And then they got the dinosaur thing. And that dinosaur is at the museum is Sue. And then they put the dinosaur on the can and off you go.
Yeah.
So a little Midwestern phenomenon, that beer. I think it had some legs for a long time. It probably still does.
I think so. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You kind of see it, and you're like, it's almost like that's probably gonna be good. Like if someone has it in their fridge, or just like, oh yeah, I haven't had this in a while. I know that's good.
I never realized that it's just like just one hop.
Oh, it is.
It's just citra hop beer.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So apparently, Mikerphone and Toppling Goliath, this is their second collab. They had a collab on at Toppling Goliath called ZZ Hop.
Oh, cool.
So they're kind of full of these puns all year long. Fucking
Man.
ZZ Hop, Susu Studio. I think I saw Big Daddy Candy Cane Porter.
That's pretty good.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
They just go on and on. I give them a lot of credit for like just really leaning into it. They have these because they come out. They listed an infographic and they dropped 130 plus beers.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that. That was crazy.
God damn, they are working. Every time you go, there's like 6 on, and there's 6 different from the ones last time.
Right. That's almost every 2 days is a new beer.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
So good for them. They're doing good work over there. So yeah,
Makes sense. You want to hit it up all the time. All right. Cool. Well, in sadder news, Smylie Brothers shut down.
See, Brad, if you only took your electric bike up to Evanston and made the rounds and included Smylie on your route, maybe this would be a different story, Brad.
I know. I would only go to Sketchbook, Temperance, and then Double Clutch.
I think that's a lot of people's route. Yeah, I'm in Evanston. Well, shit, I'm in Rogers Park a lot.
Yeah.
And
you never.
I went to Smylie once to pick up some Purple Line.
Okay.
Yeah, but those other places I'm a pretty much frequent.
In the entire life of Smylie, I only went there one time.
Yeah.
And so, I guess I'm partially to blame for them closing. I didn't support them, but I didn't find the beers interesting either. I understood the place was a very family-friendly place for dinner. They have one of those big-ass menus that had from barbecue to pizzas to burgers.
Kind of like a Chili's of sorts.
Yeah.
Kind of something like that.
TGI Fridays.
Basically.
With beer.
Right. Yeah.
And
I like the Jack Daniel's sauce on the TGI Friday, so we're not. This isn't a bad thing. We're just that's how you feel when you go.
Right, and it felt like the brewery was. This was our complaint about Bishi, too. The brewery felt like it was like second to the restaurant.
Yeah.
Because you're probably getting a lot more people that aren't drinking there, but
which is wild to me, man. Because like, shit, it's a brewery, right? Like, and I always thought in any business, right, in any restaurant, you were always told that the margins are higher on the drinks and the bar than they are on food. Like, food has lower margins,
Right.
so it's just all very
And if
surprising.
you're making the beer there, this should be working out for you.
Yeah. So, but I think the first domino to fall was the 4 storefront extravaganza in fucking Lakeview.
Right.
Yeah. And then I don't remember. Remember we all went to
Hopcat.
Hopcat. I was gonna say we all went to Ballast Point. Remember the launch?
Yeah.
Ballast Point had like parties for like a fucking week. Lagunitas party all week.
Yeah.
And usually when folks open, they go out their way to say, "Hey, we're open and we got a big ass space and it's in the city. Come see it." You know, I don't remember that ever being a thing for the city location.
Smylie Brothers.
Yeah.
Well, we know why Hot Butcher fell apart, or not Hot Butcher.
Hopcat.
Ballast Point.
Oh, Ballast Point.
The biggest mistake there was not offering anything besides beer
Yeah.
to an audience that didn't necessarily want to drink beer all the time over there,
Right.
and then only having Ballast Point beer.
And to make it even more fucked up, they got like 100 taps, and then like not all these taps are. There's like maybe 3 or 4 of these taps that are made here. Right. Everything came from the nearest Ballast Point, which is like in Virginia or something.
Right, and really, there was 4 beers, just variations of those 4 beers.
That's right, because you got the winch, the sour winch series, the sculpin series.
Then there was the
whatever the stout series is.
Yeah,
Victory at Sea.
The Victory at Sea, and it was just variations on 4 beers.
What do you want? You want Captain Crunch Victory at Sea? Do you want peanut butter Victory at Sea? You want peppermint Victory?
Guava, sculpin. Do you want
That's
mango?
True. We say 100, and we mean 100, but we don't mean that. It's mostly the brand and then all the line extensions.
Yeah.
Of all these different brands. Yeah.
So that wasn't necessarily Smylie's problem, but it seemed like their problem was the expansion cost them like too much money and just like blew up everything they had, rather than they should have spent the money to market Smylie Brothers, then being like, let's expand.
It's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of thought it was more like, hey, we're just gonna right size our operation and put all our efforts into the first place, the Evanston place. But it sounds like they just kind of the expanding did them in, maybe.
Right. Yeah. Where somebody but you gotta think like someone like Salamoth, people from the city would go to that brewery.
Yeah.
And they drank it here. They talked about it, and when they came here, it was like, yes, I can get this easier. But no one was like going to Smylie and being like, I want more Smylie. Why can't I get it here?
That's interesting. Because those guys, that was always a story I was curious about, the Solomon story. Whether it was their first brewmaster, I think they poached from like Rock Bottom, and or the Barley guys, or when Eric Hobbs went over there. Mm-hmm. You just kind of always were kind of interested in what they were doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And a bunch of them lived in Chicago, and they just felt like they were going to make it here at some point. Smylie probably needed to do what some of the other, like the Moors or the Phase 3 open, or what's the other one that has all the spots, but I can't think of but open another suburban spot across somewhere in the West Burbs or the South Burbs.
Because Pollyanna's and Alter, they have multiple locations.
You didn't need to spend the money to come to the city.
I'm sure you probably should have went to Wilmette or something.
Right.
I mean, because it's a drinking culture around these parts, probably more so in the burbs, right? So yeah, you might have been better off going north instead of coming south. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but go big or go home, as they say. So they can't fault them for swinging. They were swinging for the fences.
Right.
Because if it works, then we're all like, damn, look at Smylie over there in Wrigleyville killing it.
Right.
Yeah. So.
But first one to fall of the year.
Oh shit. Yeah. So that's it. We talk about it all the time. Purple Line, you know, multiple award winner JBF. Their barrel aged rum quadruple or whatever it was, multiple time winner at FOBAB, you know. But awards does not a brewery make,
Right.
you know. Yeah, so.
And then I was worried about Eris, but I saw a video. They got a new tank, so they needed more space. So that's a good sign for them.
The goddess of chaos. I wish there was more beer when I went there. We talked about that, right?
But maybe more tank would help. Maybe they're just going through it too quickly.
Yeah.
So
But their space, I feel like, is their space is massive, and then their food's good, and then yeah. So I feel like they might be okay.
yeah. So I'm feeling better about them now.
Yeah,
So
yeah, you know.
Cool.
And are they the only cider in town? Oh no.
Right, B.
Yeah, right. B.
Right.
So they're the only cidery that you can go hang out and have a proper meal. Right.
Yeah, but you can drink it right beer, right?
Where is you when you been to Right B?
People have talked about going to Right B.
Oh, I believe you.
I-
I just don't know these people, right?
I know, but people have told me there's like, oh, Right B is over there too. Like this is, I don't know where over here is because I can't think of that. It's like, where is it?
I don't know.
Have you gone? And it's sort of like no one has gone, but people know people who have gone.
I've heard good things about this Right B. No one knows where the hell it is, but you know.
One person has been at one point.
Oh man.
Damn. Cool. Anything else happening or coming up? Do we know when Lake Effect's going to be opening?
Oh man, no, we do not know when Lake Effect's opening
we
because they're
don't-
open in Logan. I mean, not Logan. They're open in Avondale.
Avondale, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know when the new Old Irving's going to open. We don't know when the Phase 3 out in by Moore and stuff.
Oh yeah,
is gonna
Elmhurst.
open. In Elmhurst.
It's funny. They're moving a half a mile. Sean the brewer was the head brewer at Moore, and now he's coming back.
I feel like his
Just-
plan is basically he has like a goal to shut that place down, right? I'm sure he would never admit this to anybody.
Right. I mean, but he could have gone anywhere.
Yeah.
And he's moving a half a mile from the place he used to brew. The place he fell out with him, the taproom manager, and and the taproom manager's wife. They all left.
I feel like this is a goal to shut that
Yeah.
down. The other place that's closing, maybe, finally, Goose Clybourn.
Oh, Goose Clybourn's moving. That's right. They're moving to the salt shed.
Yeah, the 12th time Goose Clybourn is closing.
They've been saying this for years. Because remember, it's like, oh, this is our final party ever. Come out this weekend.
Yeah.
We're done. Because they don't own the building, so there was always this threat of we won't get a new lease. Mm-hmm. So come for the last party ever. I've done that a few times.
Yeah.
At this joint. And,
We're rating this, all these beers, like, come drink these rare ones. We're pulling them out.
yeah. So I guess they're just like, fuck it, we're moving. But you know what? This makes a lot of sense for Goose.
Yeah.
You know, why you just be the official brewery of a music venue
On Goose Island.
on actual Goose Island.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Hollywood script here. You know?
Yeah.
Good for them.
Hopefully, this space is already built out, or the Goose Clybourn, like a brewery could just go in there and almost have no problems
Yeah.
re-going, just because it was recently renovated.
That's true.
Like, I would like to see another brewery go in there.
Yeah. Because if without that, it's going to be another fucking, it'll be Federales. You know?
I don't know. Something's got to go in there because Bed Bath & Beyond just said today, like, they're done.
And that.
No,
that-
and done. Like,
Oh,
all
but-
Bed Bath & Beyond are like, yeah, we're probably done.
Oh, really?
So that just like, you're just going to have that Patagonia there,
Oh,
and
man.
that's
I
it.
I think they split too. Right?
Oh.
I think so. So it was just at the Bed Bath & Beyond. I didn't see the Patagonia.
Oh.
No. Because I'd have went in there and looked around because I do like a nice, I'm a fan of a nice vest. You know? But I didn't see it.
That strip mall could be like just
Man, that's nice.
vacant.
I hope someone goes in there because you know the World Market, like a block or two away. In the bricks of the old market, there's a P with a hand in it underneath it, because that was the Peter Hand Brewery.
Oh.
So the Peter Hand Brewery used to make, I think, Old Chicago and Old Chicago Light. Old Chicago Light was the base beer for Miller Lite, right? So you got Goose, the oldest brewery in town, and you got some historic stuff going on over there as it relates to beer stuff.
Cool.
So I kind of hope it stays. Kind of hope it stays a brewery.
I think, yeah, someone, I don't know who's going to step up and do it. Smylie, back from...
Back from the dead. Smylie Brothers. We're back. We're back. Shit. Well, if Goose is leaving, though, who would go in there? You know? It was Goose. Goose was there for 35, damn near 40 years.
Twisted Hippo's looking for a new spot.
Twisted Hippo is not going into Clybourn.
It would have to be someone they have to already be doing food or want to do food and then have a little bit of a following. So it's not like, hey, this is I don't know, Pencil Brewing. And be like, we don't care.
It's so tricky. You wouldn't have gone to that location for beer unless it was Goose, right? Like, who else would you have gone over there for? You know?
Yeah, maybe like a Sawmoth. Maybe
Well, I don't know about a half acre.
a half-acre spot.
No, half
acre.
acre.
Half-acre.
Half acre can go over there.
Half-acre could go there.
Yeah. I definitely want to
There
see
we
half.
go. They need another spot.
Yeah, they do. Half acre, man.
Maybe Hot Butcher needs a third spot.
They do have two already. They got Fat Rabbit Soul space. Man. Yeah. Don't count Hot Butcher out. They might buy. They might be buying their third brewery.
Pollyanna comes to the city. They need like a 5th or 6th location.
Interesting, because they do their distillery too. So you could have the whole chain. You know, you'd have the non-beer stuff for the whoever that is, and then have a ton of beer options, ton of space to play. You know, Pollyanna might not be bad because I often want to go to Pollyanna, and then I never do. So something like that could work.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting, man. It's interesting to see this stuff shift.
Right. I'm kind of excited to see what Goose does with this new tap room. If they're like, oh, it's going to open 2023, it's like, bullshit, man. No fucking way. It would have to be like almost done.
I mean, they got deep pockets, man.
Right.
You know?
City don't care about that.
That's true. I gotta get. I mean, aren't they making room? This Chick-fil-A's going up pretty fast right here. At fucking Elston. I was reading the papers in the city. They said, you want a building permit for your Chick-fil-A? That's cool. $90,000 just for the building permit.
Okay.
That's insane. Yeah, but if you got the bread, they can start going.
I guess.
We'll see.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for the first episode of 2023. A few highlights, some closures, predictions, and we're drinking some Hopewell, best beer of 2023 so far.
Yeah. We're going to be at the Half Acres Big Sensory IPA rollouts coming up here in a couple weeks. We'll be there with have some fun questions for those guys. Half Acres debuting a hazy IPA to kick off the year.
Nice.
That should be good.
Cool. Well, Nick, where do people find you, get in touch when we're not here?
I'm on Twitter at Nicosia.
I'm on Twitter at BRAD, Chicago Beer Pass, Twitter, Instagram. There's photos there to look at. If that's what you still do on Instagram.
You know?
Some videos, yeah. But we'll keep going. We're chugging along. Lots of good beer to drink this year. Should be fun. Take care.
Cheers.